Guys, Mustang here, bringing on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so we've had a ton of information today released both in-game and on Twitter about upcoming content, both for Global and JP. Obviously, a lot of the stuff is the same for both now because we're synced, but we also have some stuff that is coming to Global. As we mentioned yesterday, we are getting the Roshi stuff and a bunch of the things that come with that, all coming to Global very soon as well. So tons of information in this video. We got a couple of EZAs, some new content. The Global Twitter posted the details for the upcoming units. It seems like we're getting Roshi, obviously the banner unit, Bulma, and the Peppy Gals characters that I mentioned in the video yesterday as well. So tons of stuff upcoming. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's start going through the stuff here. So this is in the news in game as of this morning. Information on upcoming content. It's interesting that they've done this way, because I don't think, have they ever done in the past just like a separate news thing that has all of these things, right? Like sometimes we'll have a thing appear in the news that says, you know, like new Dokkan event coming soon as a separate thing, and then like new stage of Super Battle Road coming soon as a separate thing. But they've kind of compiled everything into one place, which obviously is helpful because for Global this is all kind of stuff that's coming out extra in the middle of this celebration that we're already in. So you can see here we're getting the surprise reunion, the Dragon family, recruit Kid Goten to your team and Dokkan awaken him. So Kid Goten with Icarus. Is this, I don't remember this being out on JP. I either completely missed this or this is actually new and is for both versions. I know we're getting up to close to the release of when we would be getting like the free to play Halloween card. I mean, usually not actually Halloween themed. Like, was it last year? It was the launch and oolong card, right? So it's not necessarily a actual Halloween themed card, but I don't recognize that Goten and Icarus. Maybe it did come out on JP and just completely passed me by, I don't know. But yeah, we're finally getting this event, the heart-pounding heroine battle. People were referring to this as like the pink zone, right, instead of the red zone, because it's all stages where you fight against Peppy Gal's characters. The final stage is against Bulma and is considered one of the hardest fights in the game on JP at the moment. That and the Universe Survival Saga Blue Zone, Goku and Frieza. And then, of course, the Dokkan event for Roshi to get his medals to awaken him and the Bulma banner unit. We're also getting more Quest Zone stages. It doesn't mention on here yet, because we saw that on the timeline. I think that's next month. We've obviously just got the Bardock Awakening. We are going to be getting the Awakening for that Frieza as well, but it does seem like not quite yet. I think it would be mentioned on here if he was going to be getting his Awakening with this update, but a couple more stages added to quest mode, so a couple more free stones. Maybe we will finally get a new best link level stage, and then of course we have new stages of Infinite Dragon Ball History versus Peppy Gals. This is all stuff from the Roshi celebration. We're getting the next stage of Extreme Super Battle Road, stage 63, Battle of Wits, and then we're also going to get 2 burst mode events as well. The Adorable Flying Martial Artist and the Evil Emperor of the Universe. So the first one is the Videl Dokkan Fest event, right? The Evil Emperor of the Universe. I can't remember which one this is. Obviously, it's a Frieza one. Is it the tech transforming? I'd have to double check. But 2 burst modes coming out. Obviously, as always, I will do videos on those, getting the full points required for the various categories. But yeah, so you can see here the preparation for new content. Following events will temporarily be unavailable. Infinite Dragon Ball History, Extreme Super Battle Road, while they prep for adding the new stages. Everything else is like new events, right? So none of that stuff causes any interruption to anything. But I mean, it's a decent little chunk of stuff, right? Like obviously the quest mode will be for JP as well. If this is new, it will be for JP as well, the Goten one. But all of this stuff is kind of like the mini self-contained little Roshi celebration that Global is going to get in between now and next week. Well, this Roshi stuff should drop on Tuesday, especially with all this stuff appearing in the news today. Remember, stuff hits the news in game usually 48 hours before, so that confirms basically, as we've been saying, with the sales ending early and all that kind of stuff, that a lot of this stuff is going to be coming out on Tuesday morning on Global. So interesting stuff there. I like the fact that they are just going to drop it all, right? Because we basically have that week gap, and then in theory, the reason the sales end on JP is because then something new comes out then as well. And now that we're synced, it will be on both versions. So this is going to be like a self-contained week Roshi celebration. And then something else is going to come out as well the week after. So that'll be interesting to see. And then the other big thing that was shown, if we switch back over to the Twitter view here, is the JP Twitter, of course, because Global, despite the sync, doesn't tweet these things out for some reason. Again, I mentioned it in the most recent survey. You should do the same every time there is a survey. Why on earth they only post them on the JP one, I don't know, because then, of course, we just have to wait for somebody to translate all the information for us. But yeah, we are getting the EZA for the AGL, Krillin and Gohan, and the EZA for the Int Exchange, Vegeta and Goku. So these were the Part 2 LRs from the Worldwide Celebration with the Namek Goku and Full Power Frieza. Interesting that these guys are EZAing first. But I think, aren't they on that? They're on that support character banner, aren't they? But yeah, these guys getting an EZA is definitely very, very good. The Namek Saga category, as we've been saying, is in desperate need of extra help, right? Like this, even though it is a filler celebration, technically, like in air quotes, right, what we call a filler celebration with the release of the Vegeta Dokkan Fest, like even with a small self-contained celebration, a celebration shouldn't come out with a new Dokkan Fest with the banner unit and that centered around a specific category, and then that category is still not particularly runnable. Like Planet Namek Saga, even with the new Vegeta, with the new Gohan and Piccolo LR, it's not like a great team. And it definitely needed more buffs. So these EZAs are definitely something good for us to look forward to. Somebody did post the translations. I got some screenshots from the Discord, because neither Minato or Goresh have posted them yet from what I can see. So the AGL, LR, Krillin and Gohan, they raise attack and defense on their 12 key. I think is an infinite stack, right? And then the 18 key is greatly raise attack and defense. Passive is attack and defense 170, medium chance to dodge. Additional 1 key when raising key, yeah, so when picking up orbs, extra key. Additional key +1 if it's a rainbow key sphere, so they get 3 key from rainbow orbs. Additional attack and defense 50% and chance to dodge 20% when performing a super. So after supering, they have 50% chance to dodge. Additional attack 50% and launch an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super when key is 18 or more. Launches a guaranteed additional super attack and gets chance to dodge 20% when key is 24. They make a note on the side actually that it's, I think it's, yeah, it's crit chance, not dodge on the 24 key. But this is really good because they get extra key. If you can get 24 key with them, they get a guaranteed additional super and more dodge chance. Then they would also get this. So they get an additional attack that has a high chance to become a super. And then, of course, you could get the hidden potential as well. So with 24 key, they could super 4 times in one turn. They already have a medium chance to dodge. They get 20% extra on super. So they could certainly be interesting. With the number of supers they do in one turn, be interesting to see what their raw defense gets up to. But they've got no guard or damage reduction or anything like that. So against tougher attacks, right, they would still be relying on dodge. And then, of course, once they, I guess, quote-unquote, transform, right, they get the costume change into the battle armor. They greatly raise attack and raise defense for 1 turn, colossal damage, and then massively raise attack and greatly raise defense for 1 turn, mega colossal damage. Passive is attack and defense 200%, high chance to dodge, 2 extra key per key sphere, and an extra +1 for rainbows, which means rainbows give them 4 key. Additional attack and defense 58% and chance to dodge +20% when performing a super. So after supering, they have a 70% chance to dodge after the costume change. Then they get an additional 77% attack and get an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super with 18 key. And then a guaranteed additional super and the crit chance of 30% when key is 24. So, I mean, these guys, I guess, full dodge, bit of additional chance to proc the, if you're getting enough key, they're getting multiple additionals anyway, so their additional in the hidden potential doesn't necessarily have to be super high, and then they can still get a couple of extra supers. Yeah, it'll be interesting, like I say, to see what raw defense they get up to. But obviously they will be able to have a relatively high dodge chance as well. Now, obviously, the one thing that with the EZA that we know basically doesn't change is their active skill, condition and effect, or at least I think the I think someone was the condition. Someone was saying before that the condition, one of them, the condition or the effect, can change, but I was under the impression that they can't. The main reason being because something to do with active skills, like the non-easy aid version of the unit would get the updated one as well, which I've never understood why that would be an issue, because if you have the unit, surely you're going to easy aid them anyway, so why does it matter? But the thing with these guys is their active skill, remember, they can use it twice, because they have the active skill that gives them guaranteed 24 key, and you can use it from turn 3, and then once they transform or outfit change into the battle armor, then you can use it again. So the idea is that you would use it as soon as it's available, and because they change into the battle armor after attacking, after performing 4 or more super attacks, they then transform on the next turn. So I guess technically you could actually be at a bit of a disadvantage in turn 1 if you get 24 key and you get the hidden potential and they super attack 4 times, then they transform on the next turn and you didn't get like the bonus usage of their active skill. But I suppose it's probably still just more beneficial to transform early because they're better in their transformed state rather than being untransformed and just having that 24 key turn. But yeah, their active skill just gives them 24 key, which then obviously activates the entirety of their passive. So that seems pretty good. Be interesting to test them out in game. And then of course the Vegeta and Goku. So we start off as the Vegeta, obviously. 12 key is greatly raise attack and raise defense for 1 turn, colossal damage to the enemy. 18 key is raise attack and defense for 3 turns and does mega colossal. Passive is 3 key, attack and defense 180. Additional 4 key and reduce damage received by 30% when HP is 30% or above. So obviously, because he's designed, like if you're on low HP and you've got the revival active, like the whole point is that he dies, right? So he only gets the damage reduction when you're above 30% HP. He gets an additional 4 key and launches an additional super that has additional attack that has a high chance to become a super when HP is 50% or above. And then he gets an additional 4 key and launches another additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super when HP is 70% or above, plus an additional attack and defense 150% when attacking. Revives with 70% HP recovered and exchanged with Goku when this character or an ally attacking in the same turn is KO'd when HP is 50% or less at the start of the turn, or starting from the 5th turn. So that's interesting. So starting from turn 5, actually I should double check if he did have that before anyway, but starting from turn 5, it actually doesn't matter what HP you're on. You would still get the revival. See, before it was HP is 29% or less at the start of the turn, revives if you get KO'd. And yeah, that's it. So it is literally 50% or less at the start of the turn, or from turn 5. So that's definitely a little bit better. If you're starting the turn at a decent amount of HP, he can get a bunch of super attacks off, which could be interesting. He has the 30% damage reduction. Each super is raising his defense a little bit, so he could be good post-super in terms of tanking. And then obviously the revival condition now much, much easier to get. So that's definitely interesting. And then you exchange into the Goku. His 12 key greatly raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn, colossal damage. 18 key raises attack and defense for 3 turns and does mega colossal. I believe that is the same. I think his 12 key has been upgraded to greatly raise on the attack and is still just raise on the defense. And then the 18 key, his 18 key was greatly raised for 1 turn. And according to this, it's now normal raise, but for 3 turns. I'm not too sure about that. I feel like they wouldn't lower it. So maybe it is still greatly raised, and this is a slight mistranslation. I'm not sure, because I'm looking at the pre-EZA version as well. His passive is 10 key, and attack and defense 200%, plus an additional attack and defense 159% when performing a super. He has damage reduction of 30%, so it's not conditional on HP. High chance of performing a crit. Additional 5 key and attack 59% when there's an extreme class enemy, plus an additional damage reduction 30% and performs a guaranteed crit when there is a Planet Namek Saga enemy or ally in the same turn, excluding self. So that's good, the last part. If it was just enemy, it would be kind of worthless, I think. But it means on the Namek Saga team, he's going to be getting 60% damage reduction and guaranteed crit once you transform into Goku. So he definitely, with the extra buffs he gets on Super and everything, after Supering, should be very, very good defensively, because he should have relatively good raw defense and then 60% damage reduction to back it up as well. So both these EZAs seem pretty good. They don't seem like, just from reading them, they don't seem crazy like, you know, this is the new best LR EZA, but they definitely seem like some solid buffs which the Namek Saga category absolutely needed. So of course we will have to wait to see what they're like in game. Once we get the data download, which should be during the maintenance, which of course is going on during the end of the World Tournament, which is why the World Tournament has been extended. Once that maintenance ends, we should then have the data in the files. It'll be like essentially getting a data download right as the maintenance ends. So once that's over, we should see all the information in the data, and that should also include the details for both these Extreme Z battles and their weaknesses and everything. So of course I'll do the team building guides for those as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Goku and Vegeta exchange and the Krillin and Gohan LR EZAs. Let me know your thoughts on all the content coming out on Global. Is there anything in particular that you're most looking forward to? Let me know all of that down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.